Bro, Doug, you gonna cut me on? Jeez. How many years you been back here, bro? Huh? That's why I'm asking how many years you been back here. Oh boy. I'd have said, I don't know. Made me look better. All right, however Yahweh do bless you for all things. We need you to speak for your truth to us. Give us understanding of the times that we're in to help us to better fight this war that we're in. But not only that, to obtain eternal life, but to have wisdom, to speak to those who do not comprehend, to give them light so that they can have wisdom. Because we know that the enemy is busy. The enemy is after souls. So grant me words of understanding, words of wisdom, to speak to your people, that we can magnify your magnificent name in our lives, and our lives will reflect the holiness that you've given so much in sacrifice for. In the magnificent name of Yahshua, amen. All right, you may be seated. Has everybody been busy doing a warfare? Yeah, we have to keep this up for a while. You know, most people, I mean, it's just the way it is. It is what it is, if you understand what I mean. It is what it is. You know, we've talked about envy, and we've talked about jealousy before in the past. Is that right? Now, what we're going to do is we're actually going to talk about it in the same order that the Messiah and some of our brethren has actually gone through. But before we actually go to the renewed covenant and see what it has to say, because, I mean, there are many different subjects that you can hit on concerning jealousy and envy. But we're going to focus our attention on how and what is the behavior of people. Because, you know, that's how you discern spirits, is pretty much by watching their behavior. It's called discerning the spirits. And when you know what the word says, and you see people behaving a certain way, then you can pretty much gauge exactly what's going on. The enemy is, make no mistake about it, he's still doing the same thing that he has always done since the beginning of time. He's after souls, but he's mostly after Israelites. And now we're in the day that we're in now, he's after anyone that could have the possibility of having the ears to hear and the eyes to see. And so any way that he can to frustrate the work, we need to first and foremost put in our hearts and mind that the world is not trying to frustrate the work of Yah. It's people. It's people who name the name, all right? So today you can tell that there's definitely a lack of Holy Spirit that's operating in that hour that we're living in. And it's just a sad, sad situation, really what it is. But it's also letting us know the times that we're in. But this mostly for us, the assembly, to be able to discern and to be able to have some intelligence and some wisdom so that we'll know exactly what's going on, be it around us or if we see it in the world, so that we will not be without knowledge and then not know how to navigate in the society that we find ourselves in. All right, so I'm gonna actually be reading kind of fast here, and I expect you, you know, if you want to, you can copy these down and go over and meditate in these things a little bit later on. All right, but you know, the spirit of envy has always been around. Most people, when they are not involved in spiritual warfare, they can't speak on spiritual matters. And that's one thing you need to pay attention to. In I don't care what ministries they are, whoever is so-called speaking. It's clear that the word says, the Messiah actually said himself, first that which is natural, then that which is spiritual. You can understand the natural, that's fine and good, and comprehend that, but then you need to know what's going on spiritual. And of course today, everybody's gendering everything to natural. And very few people, if any, really truly want to walk in the Spirit. All right? Now, when the Messiah came, his mission not only was to destroy the works of the devil, but he had a mission to fill us with his Spirit. And the only way you'll know those who are filled with his spirit is those who function after their spirit. Are you following me? And that's how you'll know them that are his. Proverbs 6:34 says, for jealousy is the rage of a man. Do y'all hear that? So anytime you see someone being very passionate, heated, or have some type of zeal about something, and it's against sister against sister, brother against brother, and it's causing all this rage, and there's nothing really, there that you can really put your fingers on and wondering why all this is. It's just a spirit of jealousy that's operating. All right, it causes men to rage. Are you following me? Out in the world, naturally, you can see people. You ever seen anyone get upset and mad over other people's fortunes? Yeah, just for no reason at all. I mean, sometimes we with women, you can see women, those that are not intelligent, what they'll do is they'll be mad and upset at another woman's looks. Don't know why they mad at her, and then they'll start attacking her with malicious words. Well, she's this and she's that and she's this and she's that. So you mean tell me you have discerning the spirits now? And remember, I told you, you're not always wrong when you're discerning the spirits, but if all you can do is discern something wrong, then you're not walking in the spirit then, especially amongst us, if you understand what I mean. Hallelujah. Or you could see people being hot, jealous, angry over another person's possessions, things that they work for and attain for, and they're upset and mad because they don't have them themselves. All right, follow me? And it would start to cause them to attack. It happens. It happens in the world. I mean, and so the action of it is seeing the rage that comes or the attack that comes. Therefore, he will not spare in the day of vengeance. In other words, you cannot reason with this kind of spirit. It's a spirit that is looking for nothing but death. Song of Solomon 8:6 says, set me as a seal upon thine heart, and as a seal upon thine arm, for love is strong as death. Jealousy is cruel as the grave. The coals thereof are coals of fire, which have the most vehement flame. Isn't that something? That's pretty hot. That's something that is burning deep down on the inside right here. You follow me? And then look at everything that it associates it with. Death, grave, coals of fire, and a violent flame. So this is a spirit. All right? Over to the Apocrypha Ecclesiasticus, or Sirach 26, starting at verse 2. We're going to read on down a little bit to verse 10, okay? A virtuous woman. Let's pay attention to this because, we understand it's talking about a virtuous woman, but we are the assembly that's striving to be a virtuous woman for the Most High. Is that right? A virtuous woman, let's see what she does. She rejoiceth her husband. Y'all hear that? And he shall fulfill the years of his life in peace. Do y'all hear that, sisters? If you are a good, virtuous woman to your husband, you should be the most peaceful thing in his life that will cause him to have peace in his life. Now you contrast that with us as the assembly, our servitude and love for the Most High. All right, follow me? The Most High, he needs some peace. When you look at all the people that has literally let him down, all the Israelites, look at our history. And he's talked about destroying Israel and done it in his jealousy, hot jealousy. You understand what I mean? And of course, we as a people were setting up images that would provoke the Most High to jealousy. He has a right to be upset. You understand what I mean? And so I think that the Most High, especially given all these years we, you know, and all these annual times that we here in hindsight, we can be able to look back and see everything that everybody's gone through. Yeah, sure, are we going to stumble at times? Sure, we'll stumble, but he's able to keep us from falling, right? Is that right? All right, but the ideal is man, somebody, this remnant, needs to be pleasing in his eyes. You understand what I mean? Somebody needs to think about him sometime. Wife, you think about how you carry yourself. Do you fulfill your years so that your husband will have peace? That's a good question. Because it says a virtuous woman rejoices of her husband, and he shall fulfill the years of his life in peace. A good wife is a good portion. But notice it said not a wife. It says a good wife. There's a difference between a wife and a good wife. All right? Which shall be given in the portion to them that fear Yahweh, whether a man be rich or poor. If he have a good heart towards Yahweh, he shall at times rejoice with a cheerful countenance. And how cheerful should we be in our countenance before the Most High? When you just start thinking about how good he is, he just calls you. Now, if he ain't been too good, I understand. You understand what I mean? But it's developing something here. Listen to what it says. There be three things that my heart feareth. All right? Number one, and for the fourth, I was so afraid, the slander of a city. Y'all hear that? The gathering together of an unruly multitude, of false accusation. All these are worse than death. That's powerful. See, because death is the end of it. That's the termination. You understand what I mean? That's pretty powerful. So what is that telling us? Israel, you, the remnant of the Most High. All right? Don't you be caught in slander. Y'all hear that? Don't you join together with an unruly multitude that will not have the character of the Holy Spirit. Y'all hear that? And never bear false witness or falsely accuse. All right, Father, if you wasn't there, you didn't see it, you ain't got nothing to say. And don't be so quick to always want to put your ear into something that you can't handle. We love hearing stuff, don't we? We're worse than a National Enquirer and can't do nothing about it but bring up the evil that could be in us if it had opportunity to show out. Are you following me? This is the Most High is not playing. And then he turns around and said, and all this is worse than death. Now, only Israelites are going to submit to this righteousness, this truth right here. Because it's there to build us up in the holy faith. It's there for us to build a rich character. You know, we're supposed to have an honor about us and an esteem about us that other people should envy in a good way. You understand what I mean? Whereas they speak against you as evil and evil workers. Are you following me? They'll be ashamed in the day of the Most High. All right? But a grief of heart and sorrow is a woman that is jealous over another woman, and a scourge of the tongue which communicateth with all. An evil wife is a yoke shaken to and fro. He that hath hold of her is though as he had held a scorpion. Whew. This is the American woman. I can sum it up in that. That's the American woman. Huh? A drunken woman and a gatter abroad causes great anger, and she will not cover her own shame because she don't know how to be shamed. Just the other day I was looking on YouTube, and there was this woman arrested for having sex in public. And she blamed it on the alcohol. Now, when I say in public, picture Walmart parking lot. In the open, not behind no closed doors, no nothing. Said it was spontaneous. This showing you the decline of our society. You see what I mean? Well, what's they got to do with anything? She ain't ashamed. He ain't ashamed. I don't know any man's gonna be ashamed anyway, but the woman should be more ashamed. You follow me? Y'all's putting emphasis on it. Should be ashamed. All right? Verse 9, the whoredom of a woman may be known in her haughty looks and eyelids. That's totally different than shamefacedness with sobriety, isn't it? Ooh. Most High's working on these countenances too, isn't he? If thy daughter be shameless, keep her in straits, lest she abuse herself through over much liberty. I said the other day, I said, you know, and all you mothers out there need to probably listen to me. There used to be a time that in the day, unless they were little whorish girls, because their mother were whores, you saw the little girls under lock and key. The mothers wouldn't let them out of their sight. They were very strict on them. Very strict on them. And instead of, see, women got two ways to do this. They can either trust the mother that bore them and her counsel, and then lead life a right way, or that they can spurn that counsel. And of course, what helps spurns that counsel in the society we live in? Well, that's the reason why you need a homeschool. Because when your daughter becomes a teenager, she's going to be out in the public school, and she's going to be soaked and immersed around all these other little girls that's got so-called freedom and liberty. And she's going to come back home, and she's going to say some words and get sassy. Y'all hear me? And that kind of girl, when she's under a lock and key, and really, and life is strict after she's done had a little taste, either that or either people coming in church. You can go to church and stuff, and you could, your children could be homeschooled, and you not get around the wrong crowd. Get around the wrong crowd. And then next thing you know, she's bitter at her mother, bitter at her father because of the strictness. No, you can't do this. You can't do that. No, no. And of course, look what this society and generation does. Ain't I telling the truth, sisters? I'm telling the truth, ain't I? Now let's check this character and nature. You have no farther to look than yourself. When you got out of the house, you had your liberty. And boy, did you make a mess of yourself. Everything you thought that was denied of you, went out to do it and done everything you were big enough to do and became a whore. I don't care if one man went into you or 10 men went into you, you still was a whore. You didn't save yourself for that one man like you should have. And you were getting back at mom and daddy. And then later on, what happens if you don't do something about that spirit? You're going to have a daughter. I'm not going to be as strict on my daughter like my mama was, and you're going to raise one more of a hellion than you were. And that is a fact. The Bible even instructs a man, if you have a daughter, don't speak too kindly to her. You sisters should keep these women under lock and key until the day they betroth. And even at that, keep it under lock and key until he takes her out of the home. Man, father, when you have a daughter and you got an honorable man want to marry her, let her get married because you have performed a weighty matter. Isn't it amazing how today that even in adoption in the world that nobody wants girls? Ask the women. Ask them for their own testimony. They all want boys. They don't want nothing to do with girls. I wonder why. Nothing. See, this is that old-time religion. This is old-time preaching. Oh, yeah. And because it's not preached anymore, look at the mess people in. All these little young girls, these daughters on, you keep them under lock and key. Don't let them turn out like you did. I'll read his last verse. If thy daughter be shameless, keep her in straits, lest she abuse herself through over much liberty. And damn, you go to college, it's all over with. College and army. College and the military, it's all over with, man. Where's the warning about the men? See, you need to ask yourself this. Why is the father always concerned about the status of the woman? You look at the law, look at the Torah. Every time he turns around when it has something to do with a relationship, he is always speaking about the status of the woman. Everything, all judgment is predicated upon the status of the woman. Every bit of it is. I don't expect for you to know this because you don't know the law. Because you have to know biblical marriage in order to know the law. Because this whole thing is about covenant relationship. And that's the reason why people avoid it more than anything, because they're not interested in making a holy covenant. Did I say something wrong? I know I didn't. This spirit, this age, hate this holiness preaching. But it's right. I'm going to skip on down to verse 13. The grace of a wife delighteth her husband, and her discretion will fatten his bones. Wife should be bringing health to her husband. A silent, and loving woman is a gift of Yahweh. And there is nothing so much worth as a mind well instructed. A shamefaced and faithful woman is a double grace, and her content mind cannot be valued. You know, there's no price. Just like the virtuous woman, price far above rubies. As the sun, when it riseth in the high heavens, so is the beauty of a good wife in the ordering of her house. It's beautiful. Yes, sir. And men, don't you think for 1 minute I'm only talking to the women. We the assembly. Yes, you better get this thing for yourself too, in your relationship to the Father. Hallelujah. Consult not with one that suspecteth thee. And anytime, in other words, if somebody suspects something with you and they want to talk to you, don't talk to them. Look at this wisdom here. Y'all hear this? And hide thy counsel from such as envieth thee. You know when somebody envying you. It's just something you can pick up. Words don't even have to be expressed. You know when somebody's envying you. Is that right? Neither counsel or neither consult with a woman touching her of whom she is jealous. You know how we, see today we're wise. We know how to finagle speech around to get to a certain point. We start off this way, but the whole intent, we're discerning the people who's listening, and we're waiting for opportunity to go in. So the real reason why we set forth conversation. Y'all hearing this, Israel? Huh? Listen to this now. Neither consult with a woman touching her of whom she is jealous. All right, that's one. Is that right? All right. Neither with a coward in matters of war. There's natural war and then there's spiritual war. Are you following me? When I read this, I thought about it. I said, should I even be talking to these brothers I went in the dining hall the other day, and we had beat the war drums and had tabernacle war drums and blew the horns and everything else. I went into the dining hall the next day and said, who did the warfare prayers? I only got half the dining hall. First ones I was paying attention to was the men. Did I say something wrong? No, sir. I was there to Pastor Dow. I'm putting out the edict and stuff. I got to obey it, but you don't have to obey it, right? Well, don't consult with cowards. Don't expect anything out of them. Just talk with the mighty men of valor. You can't be mighty in valor, naturally or spiritually, then don't consult with the coward. Uh-oh. Is that not what it says? You gonna go to war, you gonna go talk to a coward? You don't go talk to no coward if you're going to war. What are he gonna tell you? And yes, the word coward is in the word. Nor with a merchant concerning exchange. You don't want to go out there and consult someone who knows better about finance than you do. Why do you think they're called brokers? Number one, they broker than you. And they've learned how to get your money. Isn't that amazing? You're going to pay somebody a percentage to invest money. It's nonsensical. It used to be a time that it could work. It ain't working today. If you saved $10,000 10 years ago, you got $7,000 in the bank today concerning purchasing power. That 10 grand ain't worth 10 grand no more. You lost. You'd be better off collecting cans on the streets and getting more interest rate out of it than investing in this bag with holes. Uh-oh. And all you people out there that still love amassing paper, stocks, bonds, mutual funds, treasuries, all that, fiat, you got to have a little bit of that just to function in society, but you're in some trouble. The word ain't lied to us. The Constitution didn't lie either in that case. Anyway, let's move on. Nor with a buyer of selling, nor with an envious man of thankfulness. Y'all hear that? Nor with an unmerciful man touching kindness. First of all, an envious man is not going to be thankful. And an unmerciful man is not seeking kindness. Nor with the slothful for any work. You're going to go and ask a person that is lazy how to get this job done. Surely you're more intelligent than that. Nor with a hireling for a year of finishing work. Yeah, because he's going to take a whole year to try to, and he ain't going to finish it either. Nor with an idle servant of much business. You ever notice that? I'm going to modernize that for you, right? That's the people who love running their mouth and they don't get nothing done. But they got the answers to everything. They can tell you all how businesses run everything. Yeah, they can, and can't produce nothing. Hearken not unto these in any matter of counsel. That's wisdom. Y'all hear that? That's wisdom. But be continually with a godly man. Be continually with a godly man. Now, is that wisdom too? Yes. Whom thou knowest to keep the commandments of the Most High, whose mind is according to his mind and your mind, and will sorrow with thee if thou shalt miscarry. In other words, you mess up, he'll sorrow with you. Today, boy, people, they looking for blood when somebody mess up. What spirit is that? Spirit of murder? It ought not to be once named amongst us. Y'all hear that, Israel? Now, the envy that we went over in these passages right here, let's go over Job 5:2 real quick. For wrath killeth the foolish man, and envy slayeth the silly one. All them envies is someone that has a zeal, a religious zeal, an anger zeal, a zeal against men, against adversaries. Now then there's the good zeal. But all of these is talking about the people who are misappropriating zeal. They're using it for the wrong matters. All right, follow me? They don't have a zeal for the house of the Most High that's eating them up. You understand what I mean? They're really hot and fervent towards serving the Most High Yah. You getting that? Are y'all getting that? Proverbs 3, verse 30 through 32. Strive not with a man without cause. Y'all hear that? Don't you go out there ever picking no fight with nobody without a cause. You better have a cause. All right, that's what the Most High says. If he have done thee no harm. In other words, if a man has never done you any harm, you leave him alone. Y'all hear that, brothers and sisters? Don't let something rise up in you, or you hear something somebody else said, and then you get all hot and fervent and full of it. You're a fool. That's a fool's wrath. Are you following? Envy thou not the oppressor, and choose none of his ways. For the forward is abomination to Yahweh, but his secret is with the righteous. Proverbs 14, 29 through 30. He that is slow to wrath is of great understanding, but he that is hasty of speech exalteth folly. Y'all hear that? Bunch of foolishness. Y'all hear that? A sound heart is the life of the flesh, but envy the rottenness to the bones. And of course, that's one thing that, since we understand spiritual warfare, that this spirit is going to do is literally going to eat people up. And of course, you know, bone is where the health is, in the marrow. Are you following me? And so, man, I tell you, it's already destroying. It's already working. So let me tell you something about demonic spirits. Demonic spirits, when you feel them enticing you or tempting you, they sell you a bill of goods making you think that you need to submit in order to get some relief. But the only thing they're doing is they're getting ready to snare you. And you thought that when you yielded that it would bring a little relief. You didn't do nothing but make it even more treacherous for you. That's how demonic spirits work. Are you getting it? They're going to pile on even harder, even more so. They're going to put a hook in your jaw even more so. They're going to put a hook in there and set it deep every single time. Then there comes a time that your spirit gets so weak that you can't help but to perform like that because it's become your nature now. Does that make any sense? It has become your nature. All right? The word oppressor, Hebrews 62:31, to press upon, oppress, violate, defraud. It says, do violence, get deceitfully wrong, or extort. To oppress, to be crushed. Proverbs 14:32, continue on. The wicked is driven away in his wickedness, but the righteous have hope in his death. Y'all hear that? When the wicked is driven away, you hoping that they die. Whoever told us the hope that somebody die was wrong? You know, we grew up in that culture like this. That ain't the way David thought when you read his prayers. Get rid of them from the earth. And David, man, when he prayed, he went in. Let their children be fatherless. Let them be vagabonds and let them beg. Ooh. I mean, David even invoked spirits. I know all you my enemies out there, y'all don't have no spirituality, so see what they got to do is listen to me in order to get some marching orders to try to fight against us. Because they ain't got no spirituality, they ain't gonna cast out no devils. You know what I'm saying? I mean, so, you know what I mean? But David would say, set an evil man next to him. Now, that's what David would say. And let Satan stand at his right. You ever heard Paul talking like this too? Y'all people, you know, the problem with us today, y'all too nice. Now y'all need to have fervent zeal and love and charity towards each other and fellow Israelites. But anybody that doesn't favor our cause, no. Y'all get it? Clothed, right mind. Now you're a coward, you go home Take off your clothes, brush your teeth, use the bathroom, pull the covers over your head, and go to sleep. When you wake up in the morning, wash your face. Hope you take a bath sometime before then. And wipe your mouth, get your cup of coffee, say your morning prayer. They ain't gonna be about war. And go on your merry way. We don't need you in this war. Pray your little pathetic prayer. Father, help me. Father, give to me. Father, change them people for me. Uh-oh. We getting in the house, ain't we? Mm-hmm. Have y'all learned y'all lesson about asking the Father to help you? Let me give y'all wisdom. You ask the Father to help you, you prepare yourself for temptation. See, what you want to do is you want to grow in grace and in knowledge. And that's how you want your help. Your personal help. You want to, oh, never mind. You know, we try our best to help us, all the Israelites. We really, truly do. In case you hadn't learned your lesson, you go ahead and approach the throne and say, Father, help me. Guess what? You're going to get some help. You're going to get a whole bunch of help. We better learn how to pray. Grow in grace and in knowledge. When the wisdom and knowledge comes, don't reject it. Okay, all right, we're going to move on. All right. Proverbs 23:17. Let not thy heart envy sinners, but be thou in the fear of Yahweh all the day long. Now this envy is a different envy than the other envy. The other envy was a Hebrews 70:68. This one is 70:65. And this one is still in some way, but look at this one, it says right here. To be envious, be jealous, be envious, be zealous. Envious, to excite to jealous anger, to provoke to jealous anger, to cause jealousy. In other words, when you see all these little attacks or I'm really going to go out on a limb on this one. Some of you, are you kind of short towards each other? And I tell you what, I'm going to go back to this right here. It's safe right here for right now. It's safe right. I want to sleep tonight. You know what I mean? You got some serious problems. You got a spirit of envy and jealousy in you. All you do is pay attention to his nature. Anyone that's submitted to this spirit has no choice but to act out its nature and character. It is looking for death. It's looking for oppression. There's nothing that it wants in deliverance. All it is just attack, attack, attack. Even without cause. How many times you were short with your brother and sister without cause? Pay attention to that character and that nature that's operating down in there. Search and see the reason why. Now I'm not talking about them people who are always in your face, ain't talking about nothing. You can be short with them. All right? Let's don't get legalistic on me now. All right? Proverbs 27 verse 3. A stone is heavy and the sand weighty, but a fool's wrath is heavier than them both. You hear that? What kind of wrath? A fool's wrath. In other words, you're going to feel it. If you're a spiritual being, you're going to feel it. But remember, the body's a barometer to the spiritual realm for you to recognize and know exactly what's going on, so you'll better know how to negotiate this. Are you following me? Wrath is cruel, and anger is outrageous, but who is able to stand before envy? That's how powerful it is. It's a spirit. Are you following me? This is going back, this is at Hebrew 70:68. The first one we're talking about are being jealous and envious for people, against people. All right, the other one is just being angry. All right. Ecclesiastes 9:4. And we're going to read on down a little bit, all right? Listen to the book. For to him that is joined to all the living there is hope. For a living dog is better than a dead lion. For the living know that they shall die, but the dead know not anything, neither have they any more a reward. For the memory of them is forgotten. Also their love and their hatred and their envy is now perished. Neither have they any more a portion forever in anything that is done under the sun. In other words, you be careful. Remember I told you need to pay attention and be sober every single day of your life? You need to really truly practice that, all right? Go thy way, eat thy bread with joy, and drink thy wine with a merry heart, for Yah now accept thy works. Let thy garments always be white, that's righteousness, and let thy head lack no ointment. Live joyfully with the wife whom thou lovest all the days of thy life, of thy vanity, which he have given thee under the sun, all the days of thy vanity, for that is thy portion in this life, and in thy labor which thou takest under the sun. See, he's got instruction for women, and has instruction for men too. Remember I told you how we're going to be judged based on our roles? You're not going to be judged on your feelings and emotions. You're going to be judged based on how you performed. Whatsoever thy hand findeth to do. Y'all hear this? Do it with thy might. Now, let's stop here for a second, because you know I'm big on this. How many people just half-heartedly? Uh-oh. Do things. Brother Saint asked me today, he said, how did that trailer light right there get knocked off? I said, people who don't care. People who are lacking soberness and attention. I said, because that light would never get tore off if I'm the only one using that trailer. Then I said to him, that's the reason why I don't let people drive certain vehicles around here. Because they have, I've seen them over the years, they've developed a track record that they don't know how to take care of stuff. It's just a fact. You see people show up, sashaying late, dragging job down, not doing it with all their might like they should, not attentive whatsoever at all, lazy in spirit, no fervency, no zeal whatsoever at all. Isn't that true? Yeah, yes, sir. Y'all know what I'm talking about. Some of them, such as some of you. You got to be told things 1,000 times over. You know, we can actually go off into a stubborn spirit. How many times that you've oppressed work around here on the community, and you've been told 1,000 times, you can't do this the way you think you should do it because it ain't working your way. Nobody's telling you that because they want to be hateful and spiteful toward you. They're telling you that because it's for the betterment of the whole. We some stubborn people. Isn't that true? Let's finish reading this right here for a second. Whatsoever thy hand findeth to do, do it with all thy might. With all your what? All your might. Hey, Brother Saint, did you bring up that, you did? Okay. I mean, believe it or not, have y'all noticed my standard operating procedures over the years and stuff? Y'all know I end up learning how to play all these instruments? Because nobody else would do it. What do you usually see me do when I teach somebody how to play? And I'm not a teacher in any of this. I'm just willing. I can get it done. How many times you hear me teach somebody how to do something and then get them started and then I go on to the next thing? See, I'm the type of man, I don't like depending on one person for nothing. I think that in everything that we do, there should be 2 or 3 people that know how to do that job. No matter what that job is. But some of us are too damn lazy because it's going to get into our time. And we don't want to be a benefit for others because we're too selfish for our own selves. because it's a discipline to learn how to play these things. It's time consuming. I'm up here the majority. I have to prepare the message on Sabbath, and I still have to come up here and still have to fool around with this board and this guitar. Almost every Sabbath morning. Is that right, Bro Shane? I'm up here for an hour 30 minutes. Sometimes 30 minutes, depending on how much I need to do. So when I come up here and I get ready to play, I'm hoping that I got it all tuned just to the fact, because you know electronics go wrong. I'm trying to minimize all the mistakes before they even happen. Because you know what kind of bad spirit it brings upon the place when you playing or something, and then all of a sudden something just goes out. Uh-oh. Did I say something wrong? I say something wrong. Or a bad spirit that it brings upon a place when you got 2 or 3 brothers working and you got another one just dragging the job down, ain't even trying to, even with all his might, to trying to learn. Or sisters that know what they're supposed to be at a certain job, but they show up late or ain't planning on showing up at all, then you got to go search for them. Let me see what it said. Whatsoever thy hand findeth to do, do it with thy might. For there is no work, nor device, nor knowledge, nor wisdom in the grave whether thou goest. And better be sure you're going to be judged for that attitude. The Bible says that a righteous man only attends to plenty, but a wicked only to want. In other words, I want, but I'm not going to be a benefit to anybody. What if we all had the same mind, same heart, and same care? Everybody's doing everything with all their might. I was butchering the chicken today, right? And I cut that thing, I said, man, green stuff everywhere. I did pretty good first 3 or 4, man, but I look, green stuff everywhere. Sister Nellie comes over, I said, look, green stuff everywhere. She snatched that bird up real fast and ran all the way over there real fast to Brother Scott. Grabbed a hold of the hole. I'm like, what's going on? Man, you thought the house was burning down. That was over 1 chicken. I said, she was spraying the green stuff out of it, but that's the poison stuff. That you know how much I know about the inside of a chicken. I know I take the guts out and throw them away. And I said, no wonder she was moving so fast. She didn't want to lose the chicken for me being stupid. I wonder who else if they'd have seen that would have took that chicken, 1 chicken, and ran that fast over there to get that thing clean before it sat in there too long. I was just as innocent, stupid as you can get. What now? Brother Scotty, what's going on? He said, Pastor got this chicken right here. I said, yeah, there's green stuff all in it, man. I didn't have no more green stuff. See, what I did was I was doing a Sister Vicky. You know what I mean? I got that knife and thought I was a samurai, getting real comfortable and everything, and I had green stuff all over my hands and everything. That green stuff went everywhere. People be like, what are you talking about, green stuff? I'm bringing it up because of the zeal that she had for that 1 chicken. You see what I'm talking about? Didn't want to lose 1 chicken. We need that kind of fervency and zeal and soberness in everything we do around here. You ever seen that movie, The Last Samurai? I tell people to watch it all the time. I do. I tell them to watch it because I want them to see the discipline of someone living outside of the city in a community setting. Whatever they do, even if it's just picking up just a scoop and getting some rice out of a bucket, they try to do it with perfection. If they set a fire, they have so much attention on it, trying to do it with perfection. If they're harvesting in a garden, they're trying to make sure they harvest it to perfection. And whatever they do, they give themselves over to that particular art. Look at our American spirit. How many times you got to be told, and don't have a lick of care because it ain't important to you. What did it say? Whatsoever thy hand findeth to do, do it with thy might. For there is no work, nor device, nor knowledge, nor wisdom in the grave, whether thou goest. I mean, I be impressed with Brother James. I do. I be impressed with Brother James. I was like, man, y'all done sent a man here that's got a heart like mine. Want to get it done. Me and Elder Doug, we always arguing with each other. In a good way. Because we're both looking for the best way in the end. It ain't no arguing in no bad way. It's just that we're contending because we want to see this thing done right. And sometimes he's right. Well, all the time he's wrong, and all the times I'm right. Then everybody Elder Doug. Hope you're enjoying Minnesota up there. But no, we have a very good working relationship. When I teach young men or brothers in anything, I try to make sure that I remove whatever I got going on with me and put my attention into them. Now, I don't want to teach if you ain't going to perfect what I'm, if you're not, see, think about this. I remember in things growing up, all right, I remember when I was in high school, going from my 11th grade year to 12th grade year, I was already good, a little bitty small. I was small, but I was really good at throwing a shot put. I've always been strong, just naturally strong. You ever seen people just naturally strong? I've always been like dang bullock strong. And so I asked the coach, could I take the shot put home during the summer? He let me take it home during the summer. Guess what I was doing during the summer? Throwing a shot put. I was find me the tallest tree limb, if I could work up to it, and I'd try to make a go. If I didn't, I'd come down more and I'd try to throw it up over because I needed arch. Needed more power in my wrist right here. I worked on my waist with it. I did all that without somebody looking over my shoulder. And I missed going to the state by 1/4 inch. And I'm glad I didn't go to the state because I'd have lost by 10 feet. But in our district, you can go back, look in the paper. 1984, you see my name plastered all through the sports section. That ain't because I'm the greatest shot put player, because I came in first, second, very rarely came in third, but I was just good. I was just good. You ain't gonna see me nowhere in the high jump. You definitely ain't gonna see me in the 100 meters. But if I did something, I try to make sure I did it. I'm telling you, you know what I mean? I had to do it with my might. Some of us have that. Some of us are lazy as hell. And we expect the others. One day, you're going to wish that you had developed the attitude and the work ethic. Because I look at a lot of people that I grew up with that was just, everything was hee ha ha, everything was get over, everything was, let me see the shortcut I could take in order to make some money or a dollar and stuff, and you ought to see them now. They're piss poor, sorry as hell men. I'd get me a lawnmower, I'd work for it, I'd get some gas, I'd go cut yards. Next thing you know, everybody want to loan me money. Loan me money. Everybody want to borrow money from me. Isn't that amazing? I figured out a good way to get rid of people too. You want to get rid of somebody? Loan them $5. If they ain't got no integrity, they won't be back. They'll dodge you. Some people a little bit more expensive. Give them $100. You'll never see them again. That's the best $100 you invested in your life. I learned this stuff. I'm like, dang, I said, check it out, man. They ain't around no more. So if I see somebody that was a nuisance, man, it depends on how much you need. I'll get you out of my life. When somebody owe you and they're a piece of trash, You ain't got to never worry about they'll dodge you like the plague. Oh, never mind. I ain't telling, man, I'm trying to get, anyway. Am I telling the truth? Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I got people owe me money right now. I don't hear crap from them. And these were some expensive people to get rid of. Isn't that amazing? Don't hear crap from them. So sometimes that money is a good investment. Anyway, I think I done taught y'all enough about life right here. We'll get on back to the book, okay? Some of you already know what I'm talking about because you experienced the same thing. Over the renewed covenant, Matthew 27:17. Therefore, when they were gathered together, Pilate said unto them, Whom will ye that I release unto you, Barabbas or Jesus, which is called the Christ? For they knew that for envy they had did what? Delivered him. The only reason why that he was brought before that council is because these religious people, these scribes and Pharisees, these hypocrites, they were upset and mad at Christ. I had a brother ask me today, why the world are you thinking all these lies and all this mess is coming on right now? I said, number one, feast day, and number two, envy. I said, think about it. I told you that them people are watching us. Hi. They ain't got nothing better to do. I control every aspect of their lives. I dominate them, rule them. They can't stop looking at me. You want to bet? Watch this. I command you to never stop looking at me. And if you ever stop looking at me and I get wind of it, I will come to your state and whoop your ass. So you stay right there, fool. Watch and see. Watch them obey it. Y'all think I'm kidding, man? Them people go, I guarantee they won't obey it. Can y'all tell I'm a thinking man? I guarantee you they will not go away. They can't go away. I own them. I ain't bothering nobody. Just like Christ was. Christ wasn't bothering anybody. Every time he turned around, who showed up? Scribes and Pharisees. Scribes and Pharisees. Every time he go over here and heal somebody, who showed up? Scribes and Pharisees. Huh? I told you what's going on. What does everybody always testify about? The difference with us and them? Power. Who gives the power? They envious and mad because they ain't got the power. How many times you want to keep looking at me and you already envious and you keep hearing all these testimonies and all you can produce is a runny nose? Ain't got no testimony of nobody doing nothing. Now I will say it again. And the Most High does not hear the prayer of sinners. Y'all get this? This year, just in the last 3 months, we've had so much taking place. We give y'all the glory. They say, what did scribe Pharisees say to Christ? They says, this man doeth miracles, what do we? Nothing but be envious and jealous and want to bring him before the council, set up false witnesses. What spirit is that? That's the same spirit that's going on today, isn't it? You got to be hated. You need to judge your righteousness based on how much you hate it. Because Christ said you will be hated of all men for my name's sake. I said it once, said it 1,000 times. How many times have you heard me say this? What I ever do to these people? People will actually cut on that. I'm effective. I am very effective. There's some power when somebody can cut on that computer and get so mad and heated and rip the computer monitor out of the wall and slam it on the living room floor. What they want to do with Christ? They wanted to kill him. They wasn't even withholding stuff. See, today they try to hide killing. Back then, they wanted to kill. And many times he had to escape from death. And what did he do? The Bible says he went about doing good, healing all that was oppressed of the devil, for Yah was with him. Why would the scribes and Pharisees want to envy that? Because it wasn't them. And don't you think yourself above that which is written. All right? Acts 7:8. And he gave them the covenant of circumcision. And so Abraham begot Isaac and circumcised him the 8th day. And Isaac begot Jacob. And Jacob begot the 12 patriarchs. And the patriarchs moved with envy and sold Joseph into Egypt. But Yah was with him. They moved with what? What in the world? Why was they so upset with Joseph? Because of the favor and love that their father had for him. They should have been happy that in his old age, he's got a little son that he can pour his love on since they're grown. But no, they had to let a spirit into them. I'm sure that he loved them when they were young too, and he still loves them. It's just a different kind of love. In his old age, he had, isn't that something? And Benjamin. And these people, all they were doing, just, isn't that a mess to be so jacked up like that? You're so selfish, you don't even want your father to love nobody but you. Amazing, isn't it? Acts 13:43. Now when the congregation was broken up, many of the Jews and the religious proselytes followed Paul and Barnabas. Now wait a minute. The Jews and the religious proselytes, let's see. Why are they following Paul and Barnabas? Let's look at this. All right. Who speaking to them persuaded them to continue in the grace of Yah. And the next Sabbath day came almost the whole city together to hear the word of Yah. But when the Jews saw the multitudes, they were filled with envy. When people come in, when they cut on that thing and they see all these people come for feast days, they go, look at them, look at them, look at them, look at them, right there. Hey, Why get so mad at people having a good time serving the Father? Well, let's see what else happened. But when the Jews saw the multitude, they were filled with envy and spake against those things which were spoken by Paul, contradicting and blaspheming. Anything Paul said, they said the opposite. Because Paul said it. Then Paul and Barnabas waxed bold and said it was necessary that the word of Yah should have been spoken to you. But seeing you put it from you, and judge yourselves unworthy of everlasting life, lo we turn unto the Gentiles. In other words, we ain't talking to you. We ain't talking to you no more. You be out of your minds. Isn't that amazing? Now, Acts 17. But y'all, are y'all seeing this? What's happening? If it happened then, it's going to happen now. It's just that when we're in it, we're reluctant to call it what it is. That's why you need to be, I keep telling you, be a student of the word. If you see things happening, then you'll know the reason why I behave certain ways. Instead of questioning me, why Pastor Dow doing that? I got a few other things working too. You know what Elder Rufus said the other day when I talked to him? He said, I told all the saints down here what the problem was. 23,000 subscribers, 4,000 subscribers. If they join up with me, man, I could get you 10,000 subscribers just like that. And I purge my subscribership all the time. I'll get on there and cut one video and we'll lose 500 people in one day. Or at least 3 days for sure. And I do it on purpose. You know the reason why? Look how I was preaching and we got this big old flood that came in and look what came from that. And then, have y'all paid attention to lately what's going on? When the people come, these are a little bit more serious-minded people. Oh, yeah, by the way, Brother Mike, you from England. Thank you for your letter and your offering, but your offering didn't make it. Somebody opened up your box. Do like Brother Case does. When you send something from overseas, seal that thing up all the way around on the outside. Just don't trust that little packaging. But I appreciate the thought, though, and the CD that you send. And yes, you are more than welcome to come to Tabernacles with Brother Case and them if you like to come, brother. Let me show y'all the picture of them, all right? And that's something. They come from the north and the south. Ain't nobody come from the north, south, hearing them from nothing. So they filled with envy. All right? Now, quickly, Romans 1:8. Even as they did not like to retain Yah in knowledge, Yah gave them over to a reprobate mind. What kind of mind did he give them over to? Y'all hear that? Let's see what follows a reprobate mind. And you have to make sure that these things are not working in you. All right? To do those things which are not convenient. Being filled with all unrighteousness, fornication, wickedness, covetousness, maliciousness, full of envy. I envy Brother Scott over there. It's in a good way. I look at Brother Scott and his height, man, I always wish I could have been that tall. I do. I wish I'd have been that tall, man, because, man, I'd have been some kind of a horse of a man. There's advantages to being tall and there's disadvantages. For instance, you can't crawl up on that chair like Sela can. You understand me? But, man, I've always, man, I love to be that tall. I thought I might, and then I see my brother pass me up. I go, don't look like I'm going to get there. But I have to be content with what I got. Isn't it right? But, man, I love his height. Sure do love his height. You didn't know that, did you? Well, you know now. Let the cat out of the bag. But anyway, these people being filled with envy, murder, debate, deceit, malignity, and whisperers, you need to make sure that none of this is inside of you. If you have some of this inside of you, you need to be working on purging right now. Because all this is cancer to you. It's cancer to the soul, okay? Backbiters, haters of Yah. Look what else that comes along with this spirit right here. Look at that. They're despiteful, proud, boasters, inventors of evil things, and disobedience to parents, without understanding, covenant breakers, without natural affection, implacable and unmerciful. And here is the key. Who, knowing the judgment of Yah. See, when these spirits come in and they got you, you can't help but to perform it. And if you're not doing any deliverance, you finished. Because reading the word ain't going to deliver these spirits. You got to cast them things out just like Christ said. But before you can do that, you have to come to the knowledge of the truth. They which commit such things are worthy of death, not only do the same, but have pleasure in them that do it. Now, you see that? Can you imagine all these wickedness right here, and then these people join together looking for people just like that? Philippians 1:14. And many brethren, and many other brethren in Yahshua, waxing confident by my bonds, are much more bold to speak the word without fear. Some indeed preach Christ even of envy. Y'all hear that? You mean tell me that Christ today is even preached of envy? And strife. And some also to goodwill. One preaches Christ with contention, not sincerely, supposing to add affliction to my bonds. Now, how in the world will somebody say up, here's Paul doing y'all's work? And you mean to tell me that these people are gloating in his affliction? And then, not only that, look what it says right here. One preaches Christ of contention, not sincerely, supposing to add affliction to my bond. They want to use the message to add more affliction to Paul. Is that not sad? But the other of love, knowing that I am set for the defense of the gospel. What then? Notwithstanding every way, whether in pretense or in truth, Christ is preached. In other words, he's glad that his name is being mentioned. And therein I do rejoice, yea, I will rejoice. For I know that this shall turn to my salvation through prayer and the supply of the Spirit through Christ Jesus. And that envy is pretty much the same. You know, you'd be better off going from the Hebrew anyway, the Hebrew on it. But it's a jealousy and it's a spite. in that particular. And that word contention is someone that's by implication of a faction, people who join together in factions to cause strife. That's Greek number 2052. And the envy is Greek number 53, 55. All right, honor. Let's pay attention to honor here. Now, you do know you're supposed to honor those that are in authority, right? In spiritual authority. 1 Timothy 6:1 says, let as many servants that under the yoke count their own masters worthy of all honor, that the name of Yah and his doctrine be not blasphemed. And they that have believing masters, let them not despise them because they are brethren, but rather do them service because they are faithful and beloved, partakers of the benefits. These things teach and do what? Exhort. You think people could probably, or especially these men, they could probably be envious because they can't do a lot of stuff that I do? I mean, I got a lot of hats. And I'm not a lazy man. Can you imagine sitting back looking at the videos? I got people, instead of looking at videos, they're going, well, are y'all a compound? And I'm supposed to answer that, right? Do y'all live together? What are y'all doing? And I'm supposed to answer that, right? Foolish and unlearned questions do what? Did the guy call back, Sister Ashley? Because it's nighttime. Did he get raptured? Sister, you need to stay on top of that. Find out if he got raptured. He says 24. I want to know. Ain't that what he said in the video? He said he got raptured too, and asked why he's still here. He got till nightfall. You know what he's going to do, right? He watched it too. You know what he's going to do? He ain't going to answer the phone. Some friends lunatics. If any man teach otherwise and consent not to wholesome words, even the words of the Master Yahshua HaMashiach and the doctrine according, which is according to godliness, watch this. You don't pay attention to the word that's being preached and teach, right? Because I have no other motive but just to preach it right. Look what it says. You should preach right. Everybody should be paying attention to the word. Regardless of who's saying, if it's the word, it's the word. Is that right? He is proud, knowing nothing, but doting about with questions and words of strife, wherefore cometh envy. When you see these brothers out on the street, all they doing is it's like they're looking for a fight. That is not the message of the good news. That's the wrong spirit. That is not the spirit of Christ. That's the spirit of anti. And they ain't going to be, remember, you go back to Romans, they're giving over to their reprobate mind, so you ain't going to do nothing about it. But see, these people are right in their own eyes. They ain't going to do nothing about it. They're not going to be told until they see the Messiah. And that's how deceitful a reprobate mind is. Wherefore cometh envy, strife, railings, evil surmising, perverse disputing, the men of corrupt minds, destitute of the truth, supposing they gain with God is godliness, from such withdraw thyself. Titus 3:1, put them in mind to be subject to principalities and powers, to obey magistrates, to be ready to every good work, to speak evil of no man, to be no brawlers, but be gentle, showing all meekness unto all men. See, we do that until you cross the path, because we honorable people. For we ourselves were sometime foolish. I was, were you? Disobedient, deceiving, serving divers lusts and pleasures, living in malice and envy, hateful, hating one another. See how right the word is? James 4:5. Do you think that the scripture said in vain that the spirit that dwelleth in us lusts of the envy? No, I don't think it's in vain at all. I think it's telling the truth about us. But he giveth more grace. Wherefore he said, Yah resist the proud, but give grace unto the who? The humble. All right. Luke 6:22 and 23. Blessed are ye when men shall hate you. You're what? And when they shall separate you from their company, and shall reproach you, hear that? And cast your name out as evil for the Son of Man's sake. Rejoice in that day, and leap for joy, for, behold, your reward is great in heaven, for in like manner did their fathers unto the prophets. John 15, verse 17 through 19. These things I command you, that ye love one another. If the world hate you, you know that it hated me before it hated you. If you are of the world, then the world will love its own. But because you are not of the world, But I have chosen you out of the world, therefore the world do what? Hate you. And believe it or not, we're in the world, but we're not of the world. We're literally out of the world while we're in it. We are. Everything about us is done changed. We all come from the world, but everything about us is done changed. And it's still evolving, still changing. 1 John 3:11, last one, last passage right here through 17. For this is the message that you have heard from the beginning, that we should do what? Love one another. Not as Cain, who was of that wicked one and slew his brother. Don't love like Cain loved and want to kill his brother. Wherefore he slew him, because his own works were evil. So why do we get attacked? Because their works are evil. Think about it. What evil works? You people ain't no fools. What evil works are we doing here? None. You ever see Pastor Dow get on the YouTube and I look at people all the time. But you ever see me get on YouTube and then go over and start fights with folk? Got higher character than that. Higher honor. Because my works ain't evil. First of all, I ain't got too much time to be giving place to that anyway. We doing a good work and can't come down. You ever read that before? Look at this. As his brother is righteous. Marvel not, my brethren, if the world hate you. So don't you be marveling if the world hate you in any way, shape, or form. And guess who's going to be the first one to hate you more than anybody? Family. Family. You've already experienced that, ain't you? We know that we are passed from death to life because we love the brethren. He that loveth not his brother abideth in death. Whosoever hateth his brother is a murderer. And you know that no murderer have eternal life abide in him. Hereby perceive we the love of Yah, because he laid down his life for us, we ought to lay down our lives for our brethren, or for the brethren. But whosoever hath this world's good, and seeth his brother have need, and shut up his bowels compassion for him, how dwelleth the love of Yah in him? See, that what people do today is they say, this is how we get a pass. You ain't my brother. And that's true. Everybody's not our brother. Hey, if they don't keep the commandments, they're not obeying this book, they ain't our brother. They're not our sister. Y'all following that? All right? But we need to educate ourselves on how we should be responding spiritually and how we should respond as well as naturally concerning matters going forth, because there's going to be many false brethren that we're going to be dealing with in the upcoming years before Christ returns. But you need to know the behavior of spirits. You need to know them, but you have to first recognize them in yourself before you can see them in others. Y'all follow me? All right, Abba Yah, we do thank you for all things. We pray these things sink deep down in our hearts in the mighty name of Yahshua. Amen. Shalom, King coming.